Okay, so we did all the cream products. Now we're on to setting powders for my gems. So to start, let's talk about it with the tools. I use a brush like this, or I use a little sponge for under my eye, and then I'll use this, or I'll use a fluffier brush when it comes to bigger areas of my face like this. That's still pretty packed, but it covers a little bit of a larger area. So those will be the brushes I also use today to show you how I use them. Now, let's talk setting powders. Some use pressed, some use loose. If you are oily, I would use loose. Not necessarily. A lot of people associate loose powders with baking. Not necessarily to bake, but it's creating a layer to help absorb the oils more versus a pressed powder. Now, when it comes to the loose powders, when it comes to powders in general, there's all kinds. There's HD, which if you put on too much, it can cause flashback. I use this at the very, 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 very end and very lightly. Very, very little product, very lightly. This is the NYX Studio HD finishing powder, and I use it as that, as a finishing powder. It's very white. And it's very easy to cause flashbacks. This HD powders were a huge thing back in the 2010s, and flashback Mary was a thing for like James Charles. As much as we don't like him, we can learn that lesson that flashback really is a thing. Then there's colored powders. This one is, I'm trying to find, this one's talc free. I'm trying to see, and it even says to let bake, let sit 3 to 5 minutes, and you would do a thick layer on it. This is translucent light, from the Blurfection L'Oreal Infallible line, and then this one's pink. They also have, like with Jordana Tisha, there's deeper yellow powders, there's deeper pinks, there's, I know Flossie was taking over the internet for a while in the last few years. There's different levels of pink to it if you want to add like a little pinkier hue. It brightens it up. I also like the lavender powders. I think she has one. I know Jaclyn Hill had one. Morphe had one. The lavender can brighten it up. The pink can brighten it up. You can even layer it, like do pink and then that. You could do yellow to set and neutralize translucent. If you watch my videos, you know, I like to concoct it. This is an old H&B Soft Focus loose setting powder. I even mix some in here, but since then I just use the container. For other mixtures, I'll mix pink, I'll mix yellow, like really deeper pinks and yellows, and then translucent. And mixing it in here, it creates the perfect skin tone setting powder for me. And how I like to set this, ooh, I'm almost out of this one too. How I like to set this, so I'm just gonna go in with the L'Oreal Infallible Blurfection. So I would take a little bit, put it on the lid, take a brush like this brush. I like it because it's angled and it's fluffy and dense, and I'll go in and do the underneath of my eye, really pressing it in because that's where I'm going to focus first. Going down to the edge of my nose, blending all that out. I don't know where my baby puff went. Here it is. See, y'all get everything, like similar to Lives. And then I'll take a little bit of the powder. Now, instead of going straight in, you see how patchy that is? Kind of tap it out on the hand. Now you see the difference? Smoother. Go from the bottom to underneath the eye, and then go out, and then wherever's left, fill in on there. And even the side of the nose. And set that. And then just going in and keep tapping. And then, gotta take a little bit more. I like the loose powders to set my face, and then like pressed powders to add a blurring or a touch up. And then we're just going to use the rest of the powder. And I'm going to go around this. And then whatever's left, just kind of veil it over to set it. So, tap, 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 tap. There's still product on. And just kind of veil over. Like, set the foundation, but then, like, lightly go over the bronzer and the blush. That way, whenever we do powder bronzers and blush, it's not going to end up patchy. And it's a gentle veil. So you could be done at this step if you want. And then pressed powder, I want it a little bit brighter under my eyes. A pressed powder, we're going to go in with the L'Oreal Infallible Fresh Wear Foundation Powder in the shade 10 Porcelain, which it is a brighter powder. And with that one, I'm going to go in with this brush. It's smaller, denser, and it fits perfectly under my eye. So we're going to do a little swish, swish, tap, tap, tap. And really concentrate it right here. And then feather out. And then take the other brush with no product on it and just kind of tap, tap, tap. Foundation powders I love. I do have one that's more my skin tone with the Maybelline one. Foundation powders I love. They add extra coverage. You could just wear the foundation powder by itself without doing any of the creams. It adds extra coverage. It adds, obviously, staying power. And then if you're oilier, I really like that. If you're going to use any creams underneath, adding that, it is a good thing to use as well. If you're going to do a veil, just do a very thin layer so it doesn't cover up any of what you did. So this is a good stopping point if this is like your everyday look, I'm going to turn this light off so you can see. So it could create the shadows. See where the contour and the bronzer and the blush and it's all laying nicely? This is what you want. And then this just made it very bright. So that is the look, and we're able to finish the bottom. If you're worried about fallout from the bottom, take a little bit more setting powder. I'm just going to do this before, and with editing magic, you'll see the rest in the eye video. Take a little bit of powder without tapping and just place it right here, right where you know you want the shadow to end. Because if you go too far with the blending brush, it's just got to blend it more into the makeup. So I'm just doing this. Make a nice thick layer of powder. That way, whenever any fallout happens, we have that. That's also why I like to do eyes before base. That way, if any fallout would have happened on the top lid, it would have caught it. And we could just swept it away without ruining the base underneath.